Yeah, hi, thanks. Obama was voted in on the assumption that he would provide a national health care plan.
But during the debate, he said he fended off criticism that he believed in single payer until older interviews of his came out. He never ran on single payer. He said health care reform. Reform is a very vague word.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's very vague.
But even if he did run, does that mean that he can run on free money for anyone he wishes? Can he run on free ice cream on Thursdays?
No, but I was listening about an hour ago, and a caller called in, and she mentioned about her husband was a doctor, and that 10% of the people that don't have insurance were eligible for Medicare, and like 10% don't have insurance. And you seemed to agree, you and her seemed agreeable that it was okay to insure those 10% that qualify for Medicare and don't know it.
Well, are you talking? No. I was describing are you talking about when I was describing the Cloward-Piven method, or are you talking about elderly Americans who've paid into the system their whole lives and are just expecting to receive what they thought they paid for?
Well, she wasn't specific on it.
Okay. Well, listen, you said that Obama ran on this and won. But the question is, do politicians have the right to free people of liability? Meaning that they could say, well, should they have the power to run on promising something that many of the voters won't have to pay for?
Well, most of the voters are going to pay for it. I mean, we pay for it through payroll taxes and, like unemployment insurance.
No. You pay if you have employer-based insurance. You pay through you partner with your employer to pay your premiums. If Obama runs and says, "Well, I'm just going to give away free health care, and anyone making less than this amount of money won't have to pay for it," then that means people are voting themselves wealth or purchasing power of someone else.
Well, it'll all be means tested. I mean, somebody making $1 million is not going to get free health care. It's an insurance.
Right. So basically, you're saying to the population, you have the right to vote the wealth and property of others, so long as there's 51% of you that want to confiscate something.
Well, that's the way government runs.
No, it's not supposed to run that way, sir. Well, that's why a lot of people are opposing it. You can't just vote yourself your neighbor's wealth.
I can tell you in Maine that we're upset at him because this is not going through, and we wouldn't vote for him if this doesn't go through. And I can tell you that's what's happening in Maine.
You've determined in Maine that somebody owes you health care.
No, we voted for him to provide some sort of health care reform, which is not happening.
Why doesn't the state of Maine just do it? Why doesn't your governor initiate this then?
We have one. It's called Zerigo, and it's a disaster.
So it's a disaster at the state level, and you want the rest of us to live with it. So your state's a disaster, and you want the federal government to take over an even bigger disaster.
Listen to me. It's a disaster because it's optional. It's a disaster.
Oh, God forbid people have a choice, right?
It's a disaster because it's only people who cannot get insurance through insurance companies, who are uninsurable, who have pre-existing conditions, and people who have lost their insurance.
Well, you can't explain to me how you insure someone who's got a pre-existing condition. If I come to you with a pre-existing condition and ask you to insure me, isn't insurance, if I crack up a car and say, now I want you to insure that car against damage, the car's already damaged.
Right.
How am I insuring? How can I expect an insurance company to insure my car against damage if I've already damaged it?
They won't. I mean, they'll insure your car, but they're not going to pay for the repairs.
Well, isn't that the exact same thing as insuring someone with a pre-existing condition?
It is in a sense, but insurance is also spreading the risk.
Okay.
And that's what healthcare.
Well, thank you. Well, no. Listen, I got to let you go. I got other calls to get to. So your state program, which is public option based, is a disaster, and now you want that for the rest of us. 1-866-95-PATRIOTS.